of foreign direct investment with Investissement Québec International, and I'll also be speaking on behalf of my colleague Marie-Ève Jean, who unfortunately couldn't be here today, who is the Vice President of Export and Internationalization here at Investissement Québec, and Marie-Ève manages a team of approximately 150 people throughout 33 delegations outside of the province of Quebec. So that includes in Canada as well as internationally. And I'm just going to see if we are all good on the sharing. Screen 1, screen 2, share. And if I make it bigger there, how are we there, Robert?
It's still in the upper kind of section there to swap screens. We're seeing the presenter view.
Okay.
So I think it's that second menu.
Yeah, just trying to. There we go. And that should change it.
Perfect.
Perfect. Great. About Investissement Québec, we are the financing corporation and primary economic development for the province of Quebec. So we are responsible not only for foreign direct investment attraction, exports of Quebec-based businesses or businesses that are looking to export, foreign businesses that are looking to export from Quebec, but we're also responsible for certain levels of talent attraction, innovation with our division of the CRIC. And we also work with a regional resource team and energy team in terms of identifying opportunities for Quebec to be more green and encouraging more local buying within Quebec. We're currently at about 1,000 employees. So within the last 18 months, we've doubled because the export team was a ministry. The regional resource team was a ministry, and they were both put into Investissement Québec, giving us about 1,000 people in about 25 different offices throughout the province. About Investissement Québec International, we're also newly created. We're responsible for foreign direct investment. We're responsible for export. We're also responsible for missions for both the Minister of Economy and in some cases other ministries. We have a presence in 37 different delegations in 19 countries and 6 Canadian cities. Mostly the export team is in each one of those 37 different delegations, and the foreign direct investment team is in about 15 or 20, I'd say 18 at this point. The services of IQI, Investissement Québec International, essentially we work as any other economic development group looking to roll out the red carpet for potential investors that are coming into the province, but we're a little bit, I'd like to say a bit of a quadruple threat, because we're able to help support a foreign business that's coming in here with business intelligence, technology support, financial assistance, export assistance, but also in helping that company, once they establish here, attract talent, be financially stable with the different programs, government incentives, and programs out of Investissement Québec that, as we're a financing corporation, is very much like a bank. So there can be loans, low interest, no interest forgivable. Throughout the pandemic, we were very much active in the loan programs to support small business, and there happened to be an article in the Toronto Star about Quebec being head and shoulders above the rest of the provinces in terms of the recovery of the economy, and that's very much in part to the programs the government of Quebec put together, but also on the export assistance. Once a company establishes here in the province of Quebec, they are treated the exact same way as other Quebec companies, in the sense that Marie-Ève's team can help them get into different markets, can help them expand, can help them identify intelligence and market potential. And really their mandate is to help identify new potential clients for businesses that are looking to expand internationally and grow into different markets. In terms of the FDI side, and on the export side specifically, it's, as I mentioned before, identify any procurement needs. Are there any government programs? Are there any international government procurement that you could apply for? looking at identifying Quebec-based suppliers. These are for businesses that are abroad that are looking to source products, source services from Quebec-based businesses. So the export team in each one of the delegations, might be Sebastian is on the line from our New York office, as well as Mathieu in San Francisco, are able to help you qualify as a foreign business of looking to source different products from different Quebec-based organizations that are looking at expanding in your market and distributing, supporting that selection of suppliers, and really on the opportunity to create a way for you to meet with them and really organize B2B businesses between Quebec-based businesses and international businesses. Our network of economic partners, as I mentioned before, 37 different delegations. When we talk about our colleagues here at Maple, we have locations in Silicon Valley, San Francisco, Los Angeles, and New York, but we're throughout the United States, Europe, Asia, and into Africa and South America as well. So we have a large network. Some offices are staffed with 2 to 3, others in New York, for instance, is staffed with more than 10 people. So we have people in different markets across the globe that can help assist both on trade development, on foreign direct investment, and then there's also a culture mandate and a political mandate of these offices that we have. I'd like to talk a little bit about one of the core sectors of the government of Quebec right now, which is our Green Battery and Electric Vehicle Initiative. And I'm part of the steering committee with the Minister of Economy, the Minister of Environment, the CEO of Hydro-Quebec, and the CEO and the President of Investissement Québec. We're obviously a strategically located province that has quite a cost competitive, low cost, renewable green energy that is hard to find anywhere else in North America or even around the world, other than probably some of the Scandinavian countries. We've got over 40 innovation hubs, research organizations. The free trade agreements that we have with different countries provide us as an easy landing point and an easy exit point. We have 18 deep water ports. So we're creating here in the province of Quebec, we've created a battery strategy over the last 18 months that's really going to go from the mine to the cell. So we have an abundance of natural resources: lithium, graphite, titanium, phosphate, cobalt. We're looking to leverage these to go into the cathode active material and the anode, which then goes into the cell, which can then go into packaging and then into a car, obviously. But our focus is really on getting the mine to the cell, and then from that point having the packaging potentially, and obviously the manufacturing being in other parts of the world, such as the United States and Ontario, but then coming back to us for the recycling. So we want to create a circular economy when it comes to the electrification of vehicles. So we've put aside roughly about a $2 billion budget to support this initiative, to grow this initiative, to attract businesses and to keep the ecosystem up and running. And on top of that, having one of the lowest cost electricity rates, a green energy, renewable energy, and a cost saving, as well as free trade agreements with different countries that are experts in this. And when you think about that, there's Europe and Korea. We're trying to become the location in North America to service the automotive and, quite honestly, the aerospace industry when it comes to manufacturing batteries and being a supply chain partner. As I mentioned, there's the free trade zones, but also the USMCA, CPTPP, CETA, CKFTA. But when you look at the map here on the right, we're very well positioned with some of the key players that you see globally to be that central point of contact coming in off the St. Lawrence River to take advantages of the ports that we have. And we've actually created a battery campus at one of the industrial parks and ports that we have in Bay Concours, which is halfway between Montreal and Toronto, just across the river from Trois-Rivières. It's a park that is serviced by a deep water port that is only available to the tenants of the park, but also the Canadian and British navies. But we're looking and we're creating this ecosystem of major players, of some announcements that are to be shortly public, but also the ecosystem of the players that we have here and the talent pool that we have. And that, when you look back almost 25 years ago, the discussion of the electric vehicle and development of the anode and the battery was part of a technology and a patent that came out of Hydro-Quebec. So taking advantage of the fact that we have Lion Electric here, that we have Novabus, Blue Solutions, Prevocar, Johnson Matthey. These are all companies that are manufacturing at this stage, not necessarily in the more on the commercial vehicle than cars and trucks for the regular folks, but buses. We've also seen a huge uptake in eVTOL, which is the electrification of the aerospace industry. So creating this ecosystem that's going to service the North American market, the European market, and potentially be a next step for businesses in Asia and Europe to come and take advantage of what we have to offer. So again, Canada is the largest electric vehicle market. About 50% of electric vehicles are sold just in the province of Quebec. So second after California specifically, and we're known for our transportation and electrification. We're really focused on the buses and the commercial vehicles, as you see here. What you have are 2 trucks from Lyon. You see the recreational vehicles that we have with Taiga. So we're creating not just for passenger vehicles, but commercial vehicles as well. When you look at a case study, Lyon being one, it's not a foreign direct investment, but it's more specifically a business that is established here in Quebec that has recently announced an expansion into the greater Chicago area. But where we've assisted is in supporting this business from its startup phase financially from the government of Quebec and the government of Canada, with the objective of the development of the US market. And so Mariette's team has been very influential in helping them identify opportunities to sell their trucks and their buses. And you've seen announcements of them selling school buses into different cities throughout the United States, but also the contract they received from Amazon to be to support, I believe it was about 10,000 vehicles with Amazon. So they provided information on the subsidies in the States, the strategies, what RFPs might be open, and that resulted in the signature of multiple contracts for both school buses and with municipalities in developing a greater ecosystem for them. And part of their expansion is obviously in result to how to service that market and have a secondary location from Quebec, being in Illinois at the moment. Creative industries is another industry we're extremely strong in. When you talk about this, it's VFX, visual effects, film production, animation, television, publishing, architecture, design, over almost 12,000 facilities, close to 175,000 jobs in the market, and about a $14 billion GDP. Montreal ranks #1 in Canada in terms of the digital creative sector. Video games is a huge market for us here. Quebec is the second largest tech hub here in Canada. But a lot of this heavily relays on the video game industry and how this jumps into other sectors in film production, animation, and television, really presenting an opportunity not just for foreign businesses to come and take advantage of what we have here in the province, but also for Quebec services to be exported to California, to London, to Atlanta, to other markets that are looking to use the visual effects studios, the animation studios, and develop gaming here. Top 5 largest video game hub in the world. Big players here internationally, such as Ubisoft, Gearbox. Behaviors is a local business that has grown significantly. So we are the largest hub in Canada, over 13,000 jobs, 200 studios, not just in one specific area. We have studios in Montreal and Quebec City, but we also have studios in some of the different regions throughout Quebec that take advantage of the talent from across the province. And again, a very diversified ecosystem. So it's not just about the final product of a video game. It's about the development and the services, the upstream and downstream of the supply chain that comes into it. But some of the most popular franchises with Ubisoft, Assassin's Creed, Warner Brothers is obviously Batman, and Beanox, which is a great company also, is Call of Duty, which I'm sure very many people are familiar with. So this sector continues to grow, it continues to develop, the talent continues to come here. It's not just local based talent, it's talent that is looking to expand here to be part of the ecosystem that we have on the video game side. In terms of VFX and animation, again, a lot of transferable skills when you look at these two sectors with video gaming sector, but a top 10 hub for VFX and animation in the world. Rodeo FX is based here. We have Mel Studios, we have Squeeze, which is a Quebec City-based organization. Real FX comes from Texas. So about 28% annual growth. Big kick during the pandemic, to be quite honest. 6,000 studio jobs in 2019. That's gone up significantly in the last 2 years. But you know, our VFX and animation contract value tripled in the 3 years between 2015 and 2019. It's probably close to tripled again. The demand is incredible in this market, and it's a talent-based demand. And the companies are coming here to establish themselves and become known in the ecosystem as well. These are also services that are exported. A lot of these companies receive contracts from California-based studios, from European-based studios, Asia-based studios. So the work that we're doing is not just local. It's certainly not just for French television. The work that we're doing is for feature films and specifically series that are being produced on Netflix and Amazon and with some of the major studios around the world. Case study, case in point, Pixamundo as a great one. VFX industry, for why they chose Quebec was really around the talent pool. And we're able to attract top talent from around the world. They're able to attract top contracts from studios around the world. We have a generous tax credit here at the province of Quebec, and you know, they continue to grow throughout Canada, but they really decided to open in Montreal as the demand has been so high for the ecosystem that we have here. So a company that's been here for quite a while, and a company that continues to grow here, and a company that continues to attract not just contracts, but talent from around the globe to be part of what they're doing in the film and entertainment industry. And one of probably the top sectors that we're known for is IT and artificial intelligence here in Quebec. So I'm not going to go through all the companies, but when you look at AI and digital creativity, applied technologies, a lot of the top names that you see globally have a presence here in the province of Quebec. This is something that's very exciting for us to see, because the sector continues to grow, the talent continues to develop, the ecosystems and the partnerships and the opportunities for these companies to work with each other continues to grow, and it not only attracts additional companies to come here, but it creates additional ecosystems, innovation hubs that we're going to continue to grow throughout Quebec. Montreal is the center point of it. You know, we have the super cluster for AI in the province of Quebec, and specifically in Montreal. Mila is one of the best known institutes in artificial intelligence, led by Yoshua Bengio and his team. So, you know, one of the top 3 best places to invest in AI is Montreal. Over $3 billion in investments announced since 2016, and over now 150,000 IT professionals. So, you know, Mila has been a key point for why Montreal has attracted the Googles, the Facebooks, the IBMs of the world, and many of the other companies that are coming into here, but also how they've created this research hub and this partnership with the private sector, the public sector, and the post-secondary educations to further develop talent and to further grow the ecosystem and the ability for big players to come in here and partner with small players and develop IP and technology together. So a very interesting mix of sectors that come together with Mila. But, you know, and this is also transferable. You can look at in the sense of, it's also transferable in the sense that you can look at economic development, bringing in different sectors of the world that are going to be centered around artificial intelligence and how these skill sets are transferable between each one of these sectors. AI solutions, again, fintech, life and sciences and health technologies, logistics and supply chain, retail, manufacturing. You see the list of companies that are in each one of these. These are local-based companies. These are foreign companies that expanded here. But a lot of these companies come here to take advantage of the talent pool, but also to look at expanding their horizons from what they have here in Quebec to service businesses from around the globe. So we continue to add to this. We continue to support it with talent attraction mandates that we have, And really what we're trying to do in this aspect of things is to make sure that Quebec-based businesses have an opportunity to go abroad, that these companies that are coming and landing here have an opportunity to partner with Quebec-based businesses, and that the export team and the internationalization team under Marie-Ève is able to help them go out and identify opportunities to grow in markets around the globe. In terms of cost, being here in Canada is certainly an advantage in terms of operating costs and salaries, but being in Quebec is an even bigger advantage to some of the other cities that we have throughout Canada. When you look at the salary in 2021 average tech wages, 62,800 for Montreal and just over 63,500 for Quebec City, significantly about 30% lower than some of the other major cities in North America. And when you look at an operating cost for a large technology business of around 500 employees, again, about a 30% difference in Montreal and Quebec City. So this is above and beyond any provincial or federal financing programs on the table. This is a dollar for dollar cost differential when you look at a New York market or Seattle versus Quebec City and Montreal. And then when I addressed it briefly, and I'm not going to go into too many details because our friends at Fasken are going to jump into some of the programs, but key government incentives and grants and tax credits. Investissement Québec with the Ministry of Economy and Innovation runs the ESSOR program, which is a program I mentioned earlier. It's a loan program, a low interest or no interest, forgivable or partially forgivable loan program, which is our nice way of saying a grant. So this is something that people can apply for and be part of a discussion to look at, depending on the size of the projects and the jobs that are created. This is very much related to job creation. An ESSOR program with the government of Quebec. We have a tax holiday for major investment projects of up to 15 years, has to be a minimum of $100 million investment. So this is something to take into consideration. I'll leave, the federal programs. The Strategic Innovation Fund is a program that we work with quite a bit with the government of Canada. This is something that is complementary to our ESSOR program. It's a receipt-based program, whereas our ESSOR program can be a little bit more on the cash up front. There's talent attraction with Emploi Québec. There's a tax holiday for foreign researchers and experts, so an up to 5-year tax exemption that increases over the 5 years the tax payment increases over 5 years, but it's quite a big drop from a 50% income tax bracket down to roughly 20%. You still have to pay the federal. So that's included in there. I'll leave the tax credits for the Fasken team, but on the other one is our energy transition. So we do have different economic development rates with Hydro-Québec that is really there to support high energy usage projects. And then quite honestly is our commercialization and export team, which provides subsidies to companies that are looking to go international. So this is the PSCE is a program that's offered at the Quebec level, and the Export Development Canada program is a federal level program. So I believe that brings me to my last slide. And on here, we have a couple of our some contact information for our team. Jean-Pascal Saucier is based in our Los Angeles office and on the foreign direct investment side, and Mathieu Cormier is in our office in Los Angeles. And I believe earlier I saw Sebastien, who is in our New York office. So I'm going to stop the share there and look at a little bit of the Q&A that we had to see if there's any questions. Great. Alan, I see a question from Alan regarding importing and distributing a Canadian company in California. I'm sure Mathieu would be happy to be in contact with you. There was a question regarding the financial solutions of the corporation to provide to international companies. The last slide is a high-level overview of that. We'd be happy to discuss with you in more details, specifics of your projects. To be quite honest with you, every ESSOR program is customized to one specific client. So there's no two clients that have kind of the same program. But I think that we'd be more than happy to discuss your project and talk about that in a little bit more detail. The main advantages of going to Montreal versus Toronto, well, you're looking at someone that did that prior to being the Vice President of Foreign Direct Investment here at Investissement Québec. I was the executive vice president of Toronto Global, which is the economic development corporation for the Greater Toronto area. Cost is a huge advantage. When I was working in Toronto and we were competing with Quebec City or Montreal, one of the biggest issues we had was cost. Also talent attraction. Toronto is a much bigger mega city, I guess you could say, than Montreal or Quebec. But talent attraction was very difficult because the cost of living was exponentially higher. And the Quebec government offers international talent attraction programs through the Ministry of Immigration, but also with Montreal International, Quebec International, Drummondville, and to a certain extent, our team here at Investissement Québec International. And that being said, salaries were and still are significantly lower throughout Quebec than they are in Ontario. And unfortunately, there are no real provincial funding programs in Ontario like we have here in Quebec. Another question from William Edwards, is the talent in Quebec English speaking? There is a huge proportion of the talent in Quebec here that is English speaking. We are one of the most multicultural, I guess you could say, provinces, states in the world. And so it's not only that there's English speaking talent, there's French speaking talent, and there's probably a good other 100 languages of speaking talent that we have here in the province of Quebec. So the talent you need is here, and to supplement the talent that we have here in the province of Quebec, we do have those programs I mentioned earlier that can go and attract international talent from abroad to fulfill needs of specific companies. So I think that's all I have, Stephen, from Q&A that I see in the list here. I appreciate the opportunity to present today, and we look forward to helping you expand into the province of Quebec, grow in the province of Quebec, and help you find opportunities to grow your business from Quebec around the globe.
Thanks very much, Dan, for an excellent presentation. I'm curious, after a company has landed in Quebec and has been operating for a while, what sort of feedback do you get back from these companies in terms of maybe something that surprised them in a good way, or something that they're really delighted about, once they're operational? Do anything kind of pop up commonly in terms of that kind of feedback?
I think there's very much a perception that because Quebec is very well known to be French speaking, that it's going to be difficult to operate here, and they're very pleasantly surprised by the ability to operate here in this market. You're looking at a born and raised Quebecer with as an Anglo in the province of Quebec. So I think the ease of access to come and establish here in the province of Quebec is one thing, and the opportunity to recruit talent and really be a multicultural, diverse company is something that is very surprising to a lot of businesses that come here. When you come into Montreal, you come into Quebec City, or you come into pretty much any other city, there's an opportunity to create something here, but it's very much like expanding into any other city. There isn't a huge cultural difference, as if unless you were going, to different markets in Asia. So we're very much a North American market that has very similar services and very similar opportunities. And there are some discussions on the language sides of things, but they're very much generally surprised by the ease of access to get into the market and to become a Quebec-based business.
That's great to hear. Just to follow up to, over the course of the pandemic, and perhaps because of the pandemic, have there been any shifts in the types of inquiries that you and your team have been fielding regarding investment interest in Quebec? And how has that change been?
I wouldn't say there's been necessarily a shift. There's been a significant increase in volume as Quebec, and I'm sure it's only going to increase after I saw the article in the Toronto Star this morning. But the battery sector, the hydrogen sector, the life sciences sector have been sectors that have just exploded since the pandemic, and what we're looking to do here. And I think we're just seeing a lot more interest in Quebec as an expansion destination, because of the support that we gave to small and medium-sized enterprises to make sure they can keep their doors open and make sure they can keep their employees working, and the different programs that the Quebec government offered to make sure that these companies were able to make payroll and stay stable.